After you finished this video, you will never hire a dud again. And this is because I'm going to tell you which life path gets maximized in which role. And again, this is also relevant if you're not a business owner and you just want to understand the best roles for your own life path, your own energy. The other thing is you can calculate the expectations that you should have upon someone based on their personal year. That will be a part 2 because that requires a whole different video. Now I'm starting with the 4 life path as I've done the first 3 in part 1. And the yeses for 4s would be IT or AI related roles, and that is because these roles require you to understand the rules or the structures of AI or coding, right? And 4 is about structure and rules. So this is why there's a nice, let's say, match. Subordinate roles, they're also very good at because fours know how to follow rules, and obviously when you're a subordinate you need to follow kind of the orders of your manager. Again, this is why they do so well in HR, because again, HR are the people that kind of say, oh, you're stepping outside of the prerequisite. Again, this is why they're perfect at HR, because HR is about rules. That is all it's about. It's about rules, following the rules. Has someone broken the rules, whether that's by saying something offensive or maybe a manager has mistreated someone, and again, it's breaking the rules. The HR is just about rules. And in the same breath, this is why they're good at being lawyers, because again, these guys are just anything to do with rules they're good at. Again, this is why coding's so good, because coding requires you to learn basically a new language. And again, language is just rules on how you speak and structures on how you speak. Again, this is why they're good at translator roles, because again, it involves you learning a new language. These guys are very good at those things. And as a whole, they thrive in structures or environments that have a lot of structure. So ones that don't require you to pivot a lot or kind of make you have to do 10 different new tasks a day. If it's something that is very repetitive, these guys will be perfect at it. Again, this is why they will struggle in chaotic environments, because they like structure. Structure is literally the antithesis of kind of chaos or whatever. And anywhere where you have the ability to build a system, again, especially if they're a full life path with 7 energy, building systems, perfect. It's for like you're a 22. The no-goes for 4 life paths, any type of new department, because again, these guys like when there's a precedent and they can go back and look at how people have done things. They're not really the best with new departments unless you're like a 22 or you have 5 energy or 1 energy. Again, this is why unstable roles or roles that require a lot of pivoting, they're not suited for. That would be more of a 5 thing. So an unstable role would be something like door-to-door sales is kind of a good one. For example, project management, or even something to do, even on something like entrepreneurship, but again, or copywriting is a good example. Or even something like social media, where again, like a content creator, not necessarily a content creator, but like a marketer. And as I said before, there is a second layer to this, and that is personal years. And that kind of tells whether someone will hit the ground running or if they might need, let's say, 6 months or a few more months to adjust till the next personal year cycle starts. And I'll be covering that in the next video, so hit subscribe. Next is the 5 life path. So something like marketing is perfect for them. Writing roles, because 5 is also about writing, because it's ruled by Mercury, 23rd letters W, you know the gist. Social media, again, it is the number of entertainment, and it's like these guys are perfect at capturing people's attention. Travel roles, obviously everyone knows, is the number of travel. So anything, even like perfect example would be like holiday marketing. So like maybe a hotel wants to kind of show off their deals in Greece or whatever, then you do the marketing for that. Anything to do with sales, because 5 is ruled by Mercury. Mercury's communication, and it is also sales. User departments, because these guys are the jack of all trades. User departments is perfect for them because it's very, very chaotic. There's a lot of stuff going on, and you have to be very, very flexible. And that's what 5s are perfect at. They're perfect at being flexible and evolving. So yeah, chaotic roles. So that would be something like a new department is a perfect example. Anything to do with like even trading would be something good because it's a lot of ups and downs. You don't really know what's going to happen. That is where these guys thrive the most. And this is again why new departments is good, because you have to have a lot of change and require many skills, because there isn't a prerequisite way of going about things. Now, the no-goes for 5s. Repetitive roles. So this would be something like coding or something like that, where you're seeing the same thing every day, you're clocking in, you're doing the same shit. They will hate that. And this is why, again, you should never hire them for something that is very repetitive. As I said, coding is a good example of that. 5s need something fresh. When a role isn't fresh every day, that is when these guys hate their job. So something like, for example, even BD, business development, or something like that, where they're cold calling people and reaching out to people they love because it's something constantly new. But when you tell 5 LifePath to do the same thing for 5 years, that's when they will get fired. Now, 6 LifePaths. These guys are perfect at HR, and that's because in HR, you can't be confrontational and you need to be very, very diplomatic. 6s are perfect at that. Networking, intensive roles, real estate, recruitment, they are perfect at, because again, they're very diplomatic and they can be friends with pretty much anyone, because they're like inoffensive and they'll get along with anyone. And networking is very, very important because 6 is about relationships. So whenever a role needs you to have a really big network where you need to call someone up, these guys are perfect. Group roles, again, they are perfect. These people are about being with others and being in a community. So group roles, group projects, they're always good at. Designers, they're also good at, and that is because 6 is also ruled by Venus, and that is beauty. And yeah, these guys are perfect at making beautiful designs. The no-goes, independent roles, and this is because, again, as I said, 6 is about being with people. When you ask them to be alone, that is where they do their shit work. 6 is others, 1 is alone. Again, competitive roles, they don't like, and that is because competition requires you to be very, very uncomfortable and always being in a sense or in a state of, I need to do something more. I need to, I can never be relaxed and chilled. 6s don't like that. They want harmony, they want peace, and in competition, there isn't peace and harmony. This is again why leadership, and that is particularly because they don't know how to confront others. And in leadership, you need to confront others. You need to push others to obviously hit your KPIs or do whatever. And yeah, this is where these guys struggle. However, if they're 6s, but they're born on, let's say, the 1st, this would be quite different because they have the right balance of keeping people happy, being diplomatic. And that's very important, being diplomatic for people that are above you, but also being able to tell people when they're not doing good, when they need to improve, rather than chatting shit about them behind their back. Because that's what 6s can do when they're in their worst iteration of themselves. 7 LifePaths. Research roles, these guys are perfect. 7 is the number of research, so that is very perfect for them. System or data roles, again, these guys know how to build structures perfectly because it's the 4th prime number. 4 is about structure, and they have the intelligence for that. So again, this is why AI coding is good. Independent roles, because these guys like to be alone. They don't like to do work with others. So if the role requires them to, be on their own for the whole shift, perfect for them. They will quit if they have to be in a room with others the whole time. The no's, sales, because it requires a lot of communication and they hate that. Any title of sociable or networking roles, again, nope. This is why I said real estate agent, because again, it is a type of sales, and you do have to do the networking bullshit. And again, this is why I said recruitment. Also, typically, they don't really like competitive roles because, again, they want to be alone. They want to be kind of in peace and detached. And in competition, you can't be detached. You need to be intense. And yeah. Now, with 8 life paths, you can't really go wrong in the domain of work. And that is because the superpower of the 8 is about work. Just like how the superpower of 1s or 11s is athleticism, they will do well typically in most sports. And that's kind of the same thing with 8s. They typically will do well in most roles. HR, they're good because they do watch out for like the little man a lot. That is kind of their MO because of Saturn. Marketing. And as I said before, 8s are built for career and they do well in most jobs. So there isn't really a no for these guys. Like they're yeah. For 9 life paths, anything to do with crypto, they're perfect at. Any type of role where there's a good work culture, they will thrive in. Again, 9s are very adaptable. So they're perfect for most roles as long as there is a good work culture. Real estate, they are perfect at too because it's ruled by Mars. Mars is real estate or Earth. Security roles, again, perfect for. Chef or cooking, they're really good at. Additionally, engineering and plumbing, perfect for. They're not the best at HR just because, unfortunately, they can be quite messy. So yeah, I wouldn't really say HR. Another thing there, like entrepreneurship is a bit iffy for them depending on the combinations. And obviously that would require a reading. But typically, because 9s are very, very adaptable, and I do say they are like a mirror, they can do most roles relatively well. With 11s, it is a mixture of 1s and 2s. So just watch my previous video to get a better explanation on that. And again, this is the tip of the iceberg. I haven't even included if they're born on what day, how that kind of interacts with the best jobs for them. But if you do want to, if you're hiring someone that is going to cost a lot of money, or you yourself want to know perfect roles for you, book in the CEO consultation and then I can perfectly analyze that for you. Anyway, like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video when I talk about personal years and how that interacts with career.